Hi, it's Naomi. Thank you for joining me. I'm in beautiful Barcelona and I thought this would be the ideal setting for this review. If this is something of interest to you, let's get into it. I'm really excited to be doing this review. This is one of my favorite books. The book is a combination of mysticism, humor, wisdom, all wrapped into an inspirational story that is so captivating. Paulo Coelho's masterpiece relays a story of a shepherd boy in Spain called Santiago, who longs to travel to see the world. I particularly enjoyed exploring this book back again in Spain, so I could breathe in the lavanda and just enjoy the warmth of the sun. The book is about a young shepherd who has a recurring dream, which finally leads him to start a quest that took him from Spain to the pyramids in Africa to find his treasure. Santiago's story teaches us about the essential wisdom of listening to our hearts, of recognizing opportunity and learning to read the omens left by life. Santiago followed his personal legend to fulfill his life's call. The part of the book I'll start off with is a prologue which I find quite gripping. I shall read. The Alchemist picked up a book that someone in the caravan had brought. Leafing through the pages, he found a story about Narcissus. The Alchemist knew the legend of Narcissus, a youth who knelt daily beside a lake to contemplate his own beauty. He was so fascinated by himself that, one morning, he fell into the lake and drowned. At the spot where he fell, a flower was born, which was called the Narcissus. But this was not how the author of the book ended the story. He said that when Narcissus died, the goddesses of the forest appeared and found that the lake, which had been fresh water, had transformed into a lake of salty tears. "Why do you weep?" the goddesses asked. "I weep for Narcissus," the lake replied. "Ah, it's no surprise that you weep for Narcissus," they said. "For though we always pursued him in the forest, you alone could contemplate his beauty close at hand." "But was Narcissus beautiful?" the lake asked. "Who better than you to know that?" the goddesses said in wonder. "After all, it was by your banks that he knelt each day to contemplate himself." The lake was silent for a moment. Finally it said, "I weep for Narcissus, but I never noticed that Narcissus was beautiful. I weep because each time he knelt by my banks, I could see in the depths of his eyes my own beauty reflected." What a lovely story, the Alchemist thought. There are loads of lessons you can take from that story. For me, it's that a narcissist will always find someone to enable them. So they'll always find someone to cooperate with them. And if that relationship is mutually beneficial, then it's fantastic. So the narcissist will be happy and his enabler will also be happy. So everyone stays happy. Anyway, let's move on to the main body of the book, and there are just a few things that I'd like to point out. So the first one is with regards to the mysterious king Melchizedek. So my dear friend Sarah pointed out when we read this book many years ago, I used to run a book club. So in that book club, she kind of mentioned that this king is actually in the Bible, and I found that quite fascinating. And it was also interesting that he had that breastplate which is described in the Bible back in Genesis, and it was from the breastplate that he removed the two stones, Umin and Thummim. So Umin is the black stone, which is yes, and Thummim is the white stone, which is no. And these stones were the only form of divination permitted by God in the Bible. So that was quite interesting to note. Also, Melchizedek the king also talked about the principle of favorability or beginner's luck. So when you start something that you are quite keen on and it's your desire and it's your personal legend, everything comes together to help you achieve that goal. I further like the bit where he says, or through a story it's conveyed, that the secret of happiness is to see all the marvels of the world and never forget the drops of oil on your spoon. The soul of the world is nourished by people's happiness. Once you're clear on your goals, the principle of favorability steps in and helps you fulfill your goal. I think what you find is that everything comes together in a fantastic way to help you get where you want to get. Anyway, the book is fantastic. I didn't want to give too much away, so if you haven't read it, I really recommend that you should read it. I've left links to the versions that I looked at. I really hope you enjoyed the book. So if you liked this review, I really hope you join me for the next one. Bye for now. Maktub.